Hello everyone, this is the second lecture on study of compounds and we are discussing hydrogen chloride. As you know, in previous lecture we have discussed the preparation and physical and chemical properties of hydrogen chloride. So in this lecture we are going to discuss hydrochloric acid. And what is the formula of hydrochloric acid? The formula of hydrochloric acid is HCl. And what is the formula of hydrogen chloride? The formula of hydrogen chloride is also HCl. So does it mean that hydrochloric acid and hydrogen chloride are same? So there is a little bit difference between hydrogen chloride and hydrochloric acid. So first of all we have to understand what is hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid is the aqueous solution of hydrogen chloride. Means if you will add hydrogen chloride gas to water, then it will result in the formation of hydrochloric acid. So you can say that aqueous hydrogen chloride is called hydrochloric acid. So this is the difference between hydrogen chloride gas and hydrochloric acid. Now, how do we prepare hydrogen chloride? So the laboratory preparation of hydrogen chloride. So you can see two diagrams here. So we can prepare hydrogen chloride by passing the HCl gas into water. But this is a delivery tube through which we can pass the hydrogen chloride. But actually this is the wrong method of preparation of hydrochloric acid. Now the question is why? So in this method you can see there is a delivery tube which is being used to pass the hydrogen chloride gas in water. Now you know that hydrogen chloride gas is highly soluble in water. So whenever the hydrogen chloride gas is passed in water, water absorbs the hydrogen chloride gas. So the hydrogen chloride gas present in the delivery tube will be absorbed by water. So what will happen? Due to this, there will be a partial vacuum inside the delivery tube. And since there is the partial vacuum inside the delivery tube, what will happen? The water will be sucked into the delivery tube. So this process is known as back suction. So water will be sucked by the delivery tube. So water will move into the delivery tube and this process is known as back suction. So due to the back suction, it is not possible to add the hydrogen chloride gas into water with the help of a delivery tube. So what do we do to add hydrogen chloride gas to water? There is a process which is known as the special funnel arrangement. So you can see there is an arrangement. There is an inverted funnel and the HCl gas is passed through a tube and in the end of that tube there will be a inverted funnel. Now inverted funnel is arranged in such a way that it just touches the surface of water. So remember, the inverted funnel will just touch the surface of water. So whenever we will pass hydrogen chloride gas, so hydrogen chloride gas will move into the water and water will absorb the hydrogen chloride gas. Now again there will be a back suction because the hydrogen chloride gas will be absorbed by water, so there will be a partial vacuum and due to this there will be back suction. So the water will move upwards in the inverted funnel. Now let us assume the water has moved into the funnel, so there will be some rise in the level of water in the funnel. So due to this, the level of water in the container, the level of water in your beaker will fall down and there will be an air gap between the surface of water and that of funnel. So you can see when the back suction takes place, the water will move upwards in the funnel and because funnel was just touching the surface of water, the water level in the container will fall down. So water level in container will fall down. You can see here there will be an air gap between the surface of water and that of water present in the funnel. Now what will happen now? Because there is an air gap, the pressure inside the funnel and outside the funnel will be equal, and again the water present in the funnel will fall down in the beaker. Now this process will repeat again and again. Again, when the pressure inside the funnel or inside this arrangement will decrease, what will happen? The water will move upwards into the funnel, and again there will be an air gap, and because of this air gap, the pressure inside the funnel and outside the funnel will become equal, and again the water will fall into the beaker, and this process will repeat again and again, so it can avoid the back suction. So this is the arrangement which is used for preparation of hydrochloric acid. We cannot use this because this is not useful. It cannot avoid the back suction. Now the next topic that we are going to discuss is physical properties of hydrochloric acid. So first is color. So you know that hydrochloric acid is the aqueous solution of hydrogen chloride. So it is a colorless liquid. Now if we talk about its odor, it has pungent odor like hydrogen chloride gas. If we talk about its taste, so aqueous solution of hydrogen chloride, that is hydrochloric acid, so it has sour taste. Now if we talk about its physiological nature, it is quite corrosive in nature like hydrogen chloride gas, and it also forms an azeotropic mixture with water at about 21%, and the boiling point of azeotropic mixture is about 108 degrees Celsius. Now the question is, what is azeotropic mixture? You know that the boiling point of HCl is very low as compared to that of water. The boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, but when we add HCl in water at 21% concentration, if the concentration of HCl in water is 21%, means if there is aqueous solution of HCl which consists of 21% HCl and remaining water, then it will form a mixture which does not have the boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius, but it has the boiling point of 108 degrees Celsius. So then you cannot separate HCl and water by just boiling. HCl will not boil out at low temperature, but it will remain with water up to 108 degrees Celsius, and when it boils, the HCl will vaporize with water. So such mixture is known as azeotropic mixture. So whenever two substances are combined, they have same boiling point, and whenever it is vaporized, the concentration in the vapor also remains same as it is present in the solution. So such solution is known as azeotropic mixture. So this azeotropic mixture can be obtained at 21% HCl, and the boiling point of this is 108 degrees Celsius. Now if we talk about the chemical properties, so you know that the hydrochloric acid is a monobasic acid. So you can see an example, HCl will form H plus and Cl minus ions here. Now H plus H2, you can see H plus ion combines with water and it will form hydronium ion. So you can combine these two reactions. Hydrogen H plus will be cancelled, so it will give H plus H2 forms H3O plus ion, that is hydronium ion and chloride ion. Now if we talk about reaction with metals, so you can see with metals the hydrochloric acid will form hydrogen and corresponding metal chlorides like hydrogen chloride does. So Mg plus 2HCl will form magnesium chloride and hydrogen. Zinc will form zinc chloride and hydrogen. Iron will form ferrous chloride and will give hydrogen gas. Similarly, if we talk about the reaction with metal oxide, so you can see copper oxide with hydrochloric acid is going to form cupric chloride and H2O, that is water. Magnesium oxide will form with HCl magnesium chloride and water. Ferric oxide, this is ferric oxide, so it will form ferric chloride. Now if we talk about reaction with hydroxide, so with metal hydroxide, HCl will form corresponding metal chlorides and water. Similarly, CaOH whole twice with HCl will form calcium chloride and water, cupric hydroxide with HCl will form CuCl2, that is copper chloride or copper 2 chloride. Then ammonium hydroxide will form ammonium chloride and water. So you can see corresponding chloride will be formed. Now if we talk about reaction with carbonates, so with carbonates it will give corresponding chlorides and liberate carbon dioxide gas. So this is the point to be remembered, that carbon dioxide gas is evolved when HCl reacts with metal carbonates or bicarbonates. So you can see an example, Na2CO3, that is sodium carbonate, will react with hydrochloric acid and it will form sodium chloride, carbon dioxide and water. Similarly, calcium carbonate will also react with hydrochloric acid and it will form calcium chloride, carbon dioxide and water. So carbon dioxide is evolved. Similarly, with bicarbonates, so with bicarbonates of metal, it will form corresponding chloride. So this is sodium bicarbonate. So sodium bicarbonate with HCl will give sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. Same case. Similarly, calcium bicarbonate will give calcium chloride, then water and carbon dioxide. So this is the same case. Now if we talk about the reaction with sulfide, you can see the example. Sodium sulfide will form H2S and NaCl with HCl. Similarly, ferrous sulfide will form ferrous chloride and H2S. So you can see with sulfide H2S gas is evolved, that is hydrogen sulfide gas is evolved. Now next is reaction with sulfides and bisulfides. So let's see, sodium sulfite will react with HCl and will form sodium chloride, H2O and sulfur dioxide. So you have to remember it, that sulfur dioxide gas is evolved. Similarly, sodium hydrogen sulfite, or you can say sodium bisulfite, will react with HCl and will form sodium chloride, water and sulfur dioxide gas. So what are the points to be remembered? That with carbonates it will give carbon dioxide, with sulfides it will give H2S, that is hydrogen sulfide gas, and with sulfides and bisulfides it will give sulfur dioxide gas. So these are the points to be remembered. Similarly, same thing happens with carbonates and bicarbonates. Next is reaction with nitrates. So you can see with silver nitrate, HCl will react and it will form silver chloride and nitric acid. So silver chloride forms a white precipitate. Similarly, with lead nitrate, HCl will react and it will form lead chloride. Lead chloride also forms a white precipitate, and HNO3, that is nitric acid. Now if we talk about the reaction with lead acetate, so lead acetate will react with HCl and it will form lead chloride and acetic acid. Similarly, with sodium thiosulfate, so the formula of sodium thiosulfate is Na2S2O3. It will react with HCl and it will form sodium chloride, water, sulfur dioxide and sulfur. So this is the reaction with sodium thiosulfate. Now the next is oxidation of HCl. So there are some important reactions of oxidation of HCl. So generally HCl reacts with some oxidizing agents and the oxidation of HCl will take place and it will liberate chlorine gas. So remember, chlorine gas is liberated and the chlorides of corresponding metals are formed. So you have to remember these 2 points. So you can see KMnO4 with HCl. Now it will form chlorides of potassium and magnesium both, and then it will liberate chlorine gas. So this is MnCl2, then KCl, water and chlorine gas. Similarly, manganese dioxide will react with 4HCl and it will form manganese chloride, then water and chlorine gas is liberated. So chlorine gas is liberated, chlorine gas is liberated. Corresponding chlorides will be formed. Similarly, Pb3O4, so it is oxide of lead and it is also an oxidizing agent. So it will react with HCl and it will form lead chloride, then water and chlorine gas is liberated again. Now similarly, lead dioxide will react with HCl, it will form PbCl2, then water and chlorine gas. And at last, potassium dichromate will react with HCl, it will form potassium chloride, chromic chloride and water and chlorine gas is evolved. So you can see in all these processes chlorine gas is evolved. Next is aquaresia. So what is aquaresia? Aquaresia is a mixture of nitric acid, that is HNO3, and hydrochloric acid in the ratio of 1:3. So we have to take the volume, 1 volume of nitric acid and 3 volumes of hydrochloric acid. So the mixture of nitric acid and hydrochloric acid, in which there is 1 volume of nitric acid and 3 volumes of hydrochloric acid, you know that is very good oxidizing agent. So it will oxidize HCl and it will liberate nascent chlorine. So it is nitrosyl chloride. What is its name? It is nitrosyl chloride, and it will also liberate water and nascent chlorine. So what is the nascent chlorine? Remember, nascent chlorine is the chlorine in atomic form. So in atomic form chlorine is highly stable. So this is very reactive when it gives nascent chlorine. So with nascent chlorine, metals like gold and platinum can also react. Gold and platinum are the least reactive metals, but this nascent chlorine is so reactive that it can even react with gold and platinum. So it is very useful for dissolving the metals, the noble metals. These are called noble metals like gold and platinum. Why these are called noble metals? Because they are least stable. Now the next topic is test for hydrochloric acid. So we will discuss 3 tests. One is when the vapor of hydrochloric acid is brought near the aqueous solution of ammonia, it will liberate dense white fumes. So it will give dense white fumes. So you will observe dense white fumes. It means there is HCl vapor. Now then, if HCl reacts with silver nitrate, it will give white precipitate of silver chloride. So you have to remember, it will give a white precipitate of silver chloride. And how will we know this is the silver chloride? It when reacts with ammonium hydroxide, silver chloride will dissolve in the solution of ammonium hydroxide because it forms diamine silver chloride. So this compound is known as diamine silver chloride and water is formed. So the diamine silver chloride is highly soluble in water, so therefore it will dissolve in ammonium hydroxide. Now the next is the reaction of HCl with manganese dioxide. You know that with manganese dioxide you have already seen the reaction. So it will liberate chlorine gas, and you can recognize chlorine gas, you can identify chlorine gas very easily because it has greenish yellow color. So it has greenish yellow color. So if you will add MnO2, that is manganese dioxide, to HCl solution and a greenish yellow gas is liberated, then it means it is HCl. So this should be concentrated HCl. So these are the tests for hydrochloric acid. And now the next topic, that is uses of hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid is used in manufacture of dyes, drugs, paints, silver chloride. Then it is also used in tanning industry. It is used for hydrolyzing starch, which is used for the manufacture of glucose. Then it is also used in steel industry, in pickling of steel. So pickling is a process in which the impurities are removed from the surface of a metal. Then it is also used for extraction of glue from bones, as it can dissolve calcium phosphate present in the bones. So this is all in this lecture. If you have any queries, you can ask your questions in comment box. Thank you very much.